Hi, and welcome back to the Triggered Newscast. Yesterday actually mirrored a moment in history where the Congress could have actually chosen to act and avert issues that might lead to a second civil war, much like the 1876 Electoral Commission, which was established just for the purpose of averting further impassioned or violence on the Senate floor. Many people may not know, but leading up to the first Civil War, a Democratic pro-slavery senator from the South viciously attacked and nearly beat to death a Republican senator from Massachusetts, a abolitionist who was making a very impassioned speech relating to anti-slavery laws. And this senator, with his cohort of other Democrat senators, got one ally to watch over him and stop all other senators from stopping him, while he viciously beat his fellow senator unconscious and nearly to death with a cane. He beat him so viciously the cane broke in half. He picked up the gold mounted cane and kept beating his head in with it. It was so severe that after the first few attacks, the man was nearly unconscious, couldn't see. He ripped one of the Senate desks off the floor to try and flee from the man. And one of his Democratic senators helped guard while he was being attacked, pulled a pistol out on the rest of the senators, and warned them to stay back and allow them to finish the fight. Again, this was one of the most significant events leading up to our original Civil War. Again, there's only a few more events that took place up to President Lincoln's address that really sparked off the first Civil War. Now, where we're at, interestingly, is similar case to where we were after the canning of Charles Sumner. Was in the aftermath, the episode had revealed the polarization in America had reached the Senate floor. Again, yesterday we saw a woman, a 14-year combat veteran, lose her life senselessly. She was unarmed. Sure, they had stormed into the Capitol. Many people broke laws to not only trespass and damage the Senate. I know that there's one thing to be civilly disobedient, which appears to be what she may have been a part of, and another thing to actually vandalize or to set off any kind of fire extinguishers and whatnot. But again, we're seeing that the violence, not only were the people so mad that they stormed the Senate, but within the chambers, we saw senators accosting each other. Now, again, one of the first things that was quoted from the Cincinnati Gazelle said, "The South cannot tolerate free speech anywhere and would strife it in Washington with the bludgeon and the Bowie knife, as they are now trying to strife it in Kansas by massacre, rapine, and murder." Now again, this fight of free speech and censorship goes back to the founding documents of our country, to our Bill of Rights and Constitution, our very first amendment, the Free Speech Amendment, the freedom of the press, the freedom for the President of the United States to freely speak has been under attack. He is now banned on Facebook permanently. I believe Twitter is going to do the same. Soon, YouTube will probably treat him much like Alex Jones and ban any content that even relates or positively suggests that Donald Trump was doing something correctly on behalf of we, the people. To even insinuate that, it soon will be negative doublespeak, negative thought control. We're going to have to shut you down for that. Again, I think we're seeing a mirroring of history. If we do not allow the Supreme Court decisions to lay, if we do not actually allow these states to recertify their electors, as some of them were very clearly willing to do, not what Senator Lindsey Graham is suggesting this morning when he says that no states were willing to certify. As far as I know, Pennsylvania was very willing to certify. Arizona wanted to reconvene and recertify. Many legislators wanted to, but the majority member wouldn't let them. In a very shielded, I would say bureaucratic, anti-American, anti-we the people way, where they were shutting down the discourse or the ability of we the people to have a say in the representation. Again, I think we all should be trying to strive to avert any kind of internal conflict. Obviously, any foreign adversary would want to see us disunified, disunited, but the partisanship that we are seeing, I'm not sure if anything else can be done aside from perhaps military tribunals to allow for a very neutral administrative body to oversee this. Obviously, we're not seeing that from the judiciaries in different states. We're not seeing that from even the Supreme Court at this level. I'm not really sure what we can do next. If we go to international courts, which one could we go to as far as would they even take us seriously? And with the corporate media backing this effort to silence not only Trump, but any of the supporters of Donald Trump now, again, I've seen many people being purged from Facebook, YouTube, from Twitter. Anyone who's been sharing pro-Trump content has been banned. I've been seeing a lot of people who now are no longer willing to be members of the GOP, which I think is great for people to finally be skeptical of this two-party system. The dichotomy is not serving we the people. These same people have been in power on both the left and the right, watching our country make trade deal after trade deal that does not benefit our people. You saw all of them turn down $2,000 stimulus, but be willing to spend trillions on other things. Not the American people, but on their other pet projects, their corporate buddies, their interests, their special lobbies, but not us, the American people. That's becoming apparently and abundantly clear. And with the shutdown of free speech, much like we saw prior to the first Civil War, the shutdown of free speech was one of the largest sparks of contentment in the North and the anti-abolitionists against the South, the Democrats, who were leading the charge in censorship, intimidation, bullying, and violence, all the way into the Senate chambers. So, again, I think we have a lot to see still. There still are Supreme Court litigations ongoing. I think yesterday was a travesty, the way that the media has tried to spin the occupation of that Capitol as being much more violent than it truly was. Certainly there was individuals who were violent. There certainly were individuals who were damaging the building. I've seen other videos on Twitter showing pro-Trump MAGA people removing people damaging the building physically. Then again, there is very clear evidence that at least some Trump supporters were also inhabiting the Capitol. Again, they were chanting the mantra, as in the previous video I showed, that we're, occupy, don't destroy. We're here to protest in peace. So I'm not sure what we're going to see here in the future, but what's clear and becoming still increasingly clear is the Congress and Senate no longer have the will of the people in mind, and mirroring history, we're seeing violent tendencies lead into the Senate chambers, which, as before the first Civil War, were a prelude to that American partisan divide. The only way I believe for us to get unified again is perhaps some kind of military tribunal, some type of international neutral court, if that were to not be able to be an option. In some way, the evidence must be looked at. I think if the evidence is not there, if it has been damaged or tampered with, and if there's no way to truly account for it, then we should have special elections in these states. We should see the exact results come out if they go door to door and do punch out, voting with every eligible voter who's alive and present to vote during the military occupation, during coronavirus shutdowns. We should have no problem seeing that same trend in these same battleground states. Obviously, even if we've lost the evidence or we can't look at it, if there's nothing to see here, then we should expect to see the same result. So I think that everyone, in the interest of calming down the tensions in our country, should be looking to remediate this situation by essentially calming the waters, not by telling Trump supporters just to go home and forget about democracy and to silence on all of their redress of grievances. And now that someone's been hurt or the Congress has been sieged, we can no longer hear evidence or discourse or decide to debate. Again, these are the same silence tactics from the Democrats in the South prior to the Civil War. I don't think we want to repeat this because we know where that will go. I think we need to step in. We need to intervene. Maybe we need the military to step in. And I mean the military leadership, the military judicial tribunals that were given authority by the Patriot Act, by the NDAA. Again, these are things that while Trump vetoed, they were just passed and have legislation. And essentially, while Pelosi and others are making an impeachment, a 12th and 25th Amendment appeal to remove Donald Trump in his last 15 days, I think perhaps for the will of the people to quell any discontent, to avert and make sure that January 20th is a peaceful transition of power, I think we should call on the military judicial system, the NDAA, the different Patriot Acts. We need those court systems to intervene, to actually show the evidence in a very clear, concise way so that all Americans will not only be calmed and be essentially assured that the results were true and accurate. Again, there will be no need to fight if everyone has a thorough access and can undeniably believe the figures that are being presented. Now, the assertments made today by Lindsey Graham and others that there's no evidence on behalf of these claims, that the president's lawyers are insane, and that every single claim they have presented was easily discountable. However, all of that data came from the public data that was presented, and every time that they've been discounted in a legal suit has been on standing. It has not been evidentiary. The evidence has never seen the light of trial. I believe we need a neutral military tribunal willing to look at the evidence, willing to declassify and show the evidence to the American people so that we can avert any more violence or any more partisan divide in our country. And if there is a collaborative effort between senators and Congress members to subvert the will of the people, even if that were on Donald Trump's favor against the Democrats, I believe that we need to examine the evidence. We need to bring it to light, from darkness to light. And after that happens, the people will no longer be upset at the institution itself, but at the individuals who have actually done the corruption. Now, 80 million plus Americans still don't believe that the voting occurred correctly until you have a military court or the Supreme Court or any court in the land present the actual evidence and allow those 80 million discontented Americans that free speech of that evidence to present itself, and for every American to make up their mind off of that evidence. Again, we hear a lot of claims that there is no evidence and there's no evidence to see, but we've never seen evidence rejected from court. We've seen cases rejected on standing. Evidence has all remained classified. I believe we need the military to step in. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I still believe that Americans, the people, we are a great people. We have a great institution. Our thought of democracy, if enacted fairly, is wonderful. It's been copied the world over. But we need to ensure for the left, for the right, and all future generations that it's free and fair. If you're with me, hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more like this, consider subscribing for more. And we'll see you at the next Triggered Newscast.